Hello, everyone. Welcome to the MSU Wealth Management Association podcast, a show where two Michigan State students take turns interviewing financial advisors and other professionals in the wealth management industry to figure out if a career in the financial planning space is right for them. I'm Justin Halverson, a senior finance major at Michigan State and the current president of MSU WMA.
Our guest today is Jackie Venier. Jackie is a partner with Plant Moran Financial Advisors. She holds the CFP, Certified Financial Planning Designation, and the CPWA, the Certified Private Wealth Advisor Designation. She is a graduate of the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business, where she has an MBA in finance, and the Eli Broad College of Business from Michigan State University, where she has a bachelor's in finance. Jackie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so right off the bat, this is a show just trying to talk to advisors, figure out why a student should go into wealth management. So can you tell us just a little bit about yourself? Did you always want to be a financial advisor? Did you always want to be a partner at a financial advising firm?
Actually, no. So when I first came to Michigan State, I had planned on pursuing medicine. I actually would have been a third generation doctor, and concluded ultimately about a semester or two in that medicine was not for me. So switched course, started focusing on classes within the business school, economics, and ultimately switched my major to focus on finance, I believe my junior year, beginning of junior year. And honestly, had planned on going directly to grad school. I have a cousin who's a PhD in economics, and was planning on at least doing a master's in finance and really approaching things from more of the academic side of things. However, when Plant came to school, I met with one of the partners who's now a partner in our Chicago office. Hit it off, really started talking through. I probably was not as aware as I could have been about what a career in wealth management looked like and how well aligned that was with my interests and my goals. So kind of took a leap. It wasn't what I had intended to do. I had already taken the GMAT. I was planning on going directly to grad school, but thought I'd take a risk and try something new, and really have enjoyed being at Plant for the last 14 years.
That's awesome. That's a big deviation from medicine to finance. It's a big difference.
Huge switch. I married a doctor, and I am reminded on a daily basis that probably would not have been a great fit career-wise for me, but it's great for those who have that skill set. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. The people of the medical brain, it's beyond me personally. So
yeah,
good to hear there's other people out there who are like that. So I guess you're using this term wealth management. Some people who might listen to the show, they might be incoming freshmen or somebody who's just learning about finance for the first time. So could you maybe explain to us what you do at Plant Moran and what is the role of a financial advisor, in the day-to-day life of an individual?
Yeah. So I think that, often when you think of a financial advisor, I think the first thing that comes to mind for most people is really just the investing side of things. I think we all kind of have, and this may be a dated frame of reference, but we all kind of have that classic broker in our head of, it's somebody who's going to sell me something or whatever the case may be. That's not really what financial planning is. And so, as you mentioned, I hold my CFP, and for certified financial planners, it's really expertise in a number of different areas. So there's the core financial planning, the investment piece of things, but then there's also expertise in tax planning, insurance, estate planning, solving for retirement needs. And so it's a lot more, I would say, broad-based, the types of questions that we're getting into, it above and beyond traditional investing, making sure that clients have a plan for really their whole balance sheet and everything's working together so that not only are we looking to optimize from an investment standpoint, but that we're making sure that they have enough saved, that they have a plan for their spending in retirement, that they're appropriately covered from an insurance standpoint, they have a good estate plan in place. All those things are really, really important to, I would say, putting together a successful financial plan.
That makes a lot of sense. I know, like you said, traditionally people think of that investment side, kind of that stockbroker, somebody who just wants to sell you, what his current lead is. And it seems to me, since I've gotten involved in the industry and the program here on campus, that it's so much more than that. So it's great to hear that there's so much more potential than just being another stockbroker, for lack of a better term. So yeah, we were talking about your CFP. So can you maybe tell me how that has helped you as an advisor? And then this CPWA, personally, I've never run across that before. I'm still very new to all of this, but could you tell us about that as well, and what are the differences between the CFP and the CPWA?
Absolutely. So the CFP is something that I sat for when I had been at the firm about 3 years. That's kind of the typical timing, I would say, for our staff that are not coming from schools that have a financial planning program. When I went through school, there was not really that many schools that had financial planning coursework, and so it was something that you had to pursue after achieving your finance degree, typically. So the CFP, I would say, is very geared towards those broad competencies that I just laid out: the financial planning, taxes, insurance, estate planning, retirement planning. It is going to be concepts that are very applicable really across the wealth spectrum. So for example, when you think of ideas like Social Security planning, it impacts us all. For the most part, everybody's going to be eligible for Social Security, but it's going to be a lot more essential for those where it's a larger percentage of their net worth. For our clients that are high net worth, ultra high net worth, they're still part of the Social Security. Social Security is still part of their plan, but it may not be as top of mind or key to their success going forward. So I think the CFP does a really good job of giving a broad overview of all those different areas and being very applicable for clients regardless of their wealth. The private wealth advisor designation I found incredibly helpful because I do work more with high net worth and ultra high net worth families, and it really gets into planning ideas that are going to be more appropriate or more you're going to see more if you're dealing with clients that have larger balance sheets, kind of different sets of problems. And so I think the CFP is a good base. And then depending on the types of clients that you're working with, something like a CPWA can be really great at specializing your knowledge further to work with the types of clients that you would like to work with.
So is there any other professions, like is there room for another advisor in a client's life? So if you are the the wealth advisor for a certain client, are there any other high-level professionals that you interact with on a daily basis? So I guess, is there room for more than one advisor in a high net worth client's life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we have situations that work really well, having someone who is a strong, someone who's a CPA, who's very strong on tax and understands the client's tax situation. A lot of our clients are business owners, and so there's a lot of complexity to get into on the business side of things, and really optimizing and making sure that we're doing everything we can to coordinate. So I think having someone who is very strong as a tax advisor is good. That's one of the benefits of being at Plant Moran, is that we have excellent tax professionals in-house, and we work very closely together when we have mutual clients. The other thing that I think is really important for our clients is to have a great attorney. So for our clients that are in a situation maybe where they have a taxable estate or they don't, but need a very good estate plan, having an attorney that knows your family situation, that coordinates with us to understand the balance sheet and all the moving pieces, is really essential. We've run into a few situations where someone's financial situation may have outgrown the attorney relationship that they were in. It's really important, especially for clients with taxable estates, to work with estate planning attorneys who specialize in that area. It just makes everything work well down the road. So a lot of what I do is actually coordinating between the legal teams, the tax teams, making sure we're all on the same page, so that when we are implementing a strategy or making a recommendation to the client, it's kind of been vetted from all of those different perspectives. That generally leads to the best outcome.
Do you guys do you have attorneys in-house that you specifically deal with, or is that something you guys like hire out essentially?
Yeah, so we do not. We have certainly attorneys that work for the firm, but we do not do any legal work for our clients. So we think it's really important that clients have a relationship with an attorney that's, often we work with a lot of the major firms here locally. So that, not work we're doing in-house, but, we think it's great to build those relationships with attorneys at different firms. And honestly, I have clients that, as great as our tax team is, I certainly have clients who use outside tax preparers as well. And those are great relationships too. Obviously, I like referring work to my colleagues in the tax team, but I'm just as happy to work with outside tax professionals, especially if there's a long-standing relationship there.
That makes sense. I know we talk about the importance of independent, objective financial advice at MSU's program, and just how that really it needs to be the trend. It is seen to be the trend in the industry, even though traditionally it's not. So it's great to hear that, whatever works for the client, that's really the bottom line. So that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Switching gears here a little bit, we've been talking about the traditional side of the industry. There's some stigmas that have been around it in the past, kind of the stockbroker, almost Wolf of Wall Street kind of attitude. And with that, we've kind of seen it's traditionally been a male-dominated profession. Do you mind telling us a little bit about your experiences as a female working in the industry? And do you have any advice for any young women who are considering starting that career path?
Yeah, so I would say, and I think I saw this back when I was on campus, that the finance classes did tend to be a little bit more skewed male than female. And then certainly, as I look at my team, we do have more male representation than the female representation. It's just where we're at today, but something that we're always, I think, working towards. Having better representation going forward. One of the interesting things is you look at trends in wealth management. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but generally speaking, historically, we've seen the men control finance decisions, investing decisions. That's becoming less and less the case. As you look at American households, more and more, it's either joint decisions, or women are having more and more influence on the financial decisions of a household. And so I think that looking at just objectively above and beyond all the benefits that you would expect of having a more diverse workforce, just objectively, more and more of our clients' decision makers are going to be female, and having female staff is probably not a bad thing to meet that need. So I think from a business standpoint, there's a pretty strong case there, and I think there's a lot of benefits above and beyond that. So it's something I've seen. I think it creates some opportunity for me, frankly. I've seen it where we've had prospective clients come in and they've voiced that they prefer to work with a female team, and we're happy to accommodate that. So opportunity creator, and I think that as I mentioned, as we look 5-10 years down the road, that's where our customer base potentially is moving, and so we need to be smart and meet that need.
Any tips for younger people? What classes should they be taking? What should they be thinking about? Like how should they go about figuring out if a career as an advisor is, right for them?
Yeah. So I think as I look at where my contemporaries have been successful, where we've seen new staff be very successful, I think if you're looking at a career in advisory services, and this is, this professional services, there's really two things that are keys to success. One, as I think anybody would expect, there's the technical competence, really being able to look at complex situations, make solid recommendations, do great long-term planning. All of that's wonderful. But what I've seen is what really sets people apart is, are they able to communicate that in a concise way? We are, absolute experts in the area of finance, but often our clients aren't. They've, achieved great success in maybe a completely unrelated field. And so all of our technical analysis is wonderful, but if we can't convey what we're doing and why it's potentially important to make some changes, none of that great technical work that we did is going to actually result in any change. And so communication, being able to distill technical ideas into, into a story or into a recommendation that, is accessible and understandable for someone who isn't a financial expert, is really important.
So it's got to be somebody who likes the client-facing side, likes dealing with people, but also does have the interest in the technical ability. It sounds like you almost have to have the balance of both sides, something like that.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Jackie, thank you so much. I guess I'll open the floor if there's anything else you wanted to say to any students, anybody considering the career. I know that was our last question, but just last, I'll open the floor to you if there's anything else you'd like to say.
Yeah, I think, right now, and I think you had targeted this when we were talking about kind of that sophomore, junior, as you're evaluating maybe where you want to take your professional career. I would say now's the time to really, have your eyes open and be talking to people who are in fields that you're strongly considering about what the job looks like. I think that, I mentioned at the beginning, this wasn't really on my radar until, into my senior year. So now's the time to be looking at, what are the different opportunities within business? What are the different opportunities within finance? And evaluating what really aligns with, your interests, what really aligns with what you're looking to do post-college. And it's okay to, it's okay to change your mind. Now is the time to really, have open eyes and see what all is out there.
Awesome. Jackie, thank you so much. We really appreciate you joining us today.
Happy to join. Hope everyone finds this helpful. I would say, always available for questions.
All right. Thanks again.
Thanks, Justin.
If you are a current Michigan State student looking to get involved in the Wealth Management Association, please visit msuwma.com and fill out our membership form. If you are a non-MSU student looking to get involved in our organization, please email msuwma@gmail.com.